When you're getting ready to start up a business, it's important to take Porter's 5 forces into consideration when choosing an industry to enter. The first major force is the rivalry among existing firms. That has a significant effect on your overall profitability. Generally, if there's less competition going around, you have the ability to make more profit, so it's more attractive to enter that kind of industry. More competitors usually means that there's going to be more competition in terms of price, so in order to be in that industry, you'd have to lower your prices quite a bit and really hurt your bottom line. That usually occurs when the competitors are about the same size and there's no clear market leader. More different products tend to be in the industry, the less likely there is to be price-based competition, and people are competing more based on the products themselves, so you can actually sell your products at a higher price. Slow growth in industry also contributes to price competition. If there isn't much growth, a company might be tempted to cut their prices down in order to attract more customers and grow their customer base more. Also, if the level of fixed costs are pretty high, you're going to need to sell more products to break even, and you might have to sell things at a lower price to get that volume up. The second major force is the threat of new entrants. Generally, it's more attractive when an industry isn't likely to have more people jump in and make money off of what you're making money off of. Less competition. Now, industries often have various barriers to entry. Sometimes they're economic. For example, it might be expensive to set up the equipment and machinery necessary to do certain types of manufacturing, or it could be regulatory. Like there may be certain government regulations that are difficult for startups to meet. You can deal with the threat of new entrants by differentiating your product. If your product is significantly different from all the other products in your industry, it's a lot less likely that somebody's going to copy what you do and make money off of what you do. Another challenge with the threat of new entrants is that distribution channels are pretty hard to crack through. If you don't know the right people, it's very difficult to get into good distribution channels. The third major force is the threat of substitutes. Industries are a lot more attractive if the threat of substitutes is low. If the threat of substitutes is a little higher, customers will tend to go find a cheaper alternative to your product, or they'll find something that offers them much more value for that same price. To avoid this issue, really focus on differentiating your product. If your product is different from anything else on the market, you're not going to have any issues with substitutes. The bargaining power of suppliers is the fourth major force. It's, of course, more attractive when the bargaining power is lower. If there are very few suppliers in the industry, they're going to have a lot more bargaining power because you don't have a lot of substitutes to choose from, so they don't have to compete on price. So they can sell you things for higher prices and sell you things that have lower quality. So it's really helpful when there are many suppliers to choose from, because that'll really hurt your bottom line if they charge you more for worse stuff. It's also expensive to change suppliers sometimes. If you're really entrenched in a supplier, you might actually have a dedicated inventory management system that's, designed to work best with that specific supplier. Suppliers also have a lot more power when they're capable of entering the industry you're in. For example, if somebody complained about Microsoft's operating systems being too expensive, they could just start making their own computers and take over the industry. And the fifth force is the bargaining power of buyers. And it's also, of course, more attractive to enter an industry when the bargaining power is lower. If customers have less bargaining power, you can sell things for higher prices, and you don't really have to push quality as hard. Generally, the buyers have more power when there are less of them and they're bigger buyers, and there are many suppliers. And if an item's really important to a buyer, they're going to push as hard as they can to get the best possible deal, pushing prices down as a result. Also, if a product is pretty standard, then the customer is going to have a little more bargaining power because they can just hop over to the next company and get a better product for a better price. You can, just go deal hunting. And similarly to suppliers, if a buyer has the power to enter an industry, they're also going to have a lot more bargaining power. So these are all important things to keep in mind when you're choosing an industry to enter. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.